Hey guys, MCU Collector here with video number 5 in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, X-Men Wave 4 Caliban Build-A-Figure. This is Marvel's Forge, or just Forge. So I'm not real familiar with the character. I know that there has been a previous Forge figure released in a 2-pack with Wolverine. I do not have a lot of those older Hasbro figures, so I don't have that Forge figure to compare it with, just like, and I forgot to mention, I don't have the Toy Biz Weapon X, so I couldn't obviously do a comparison with that one. So for this figure, I'm just going to go over the accessories, go over the articulation of the figure, and show you some close-ups of it. I won't really get into any of the character background, but I just want to show you the figure, but be warned, it's a lot of Bucky cap. So let's get right to it. And I forgot to show you the artwork. So we have Forge here on the side. The artwork looks awesome on the back of the package. Looks very cool as well. Let's take a look at that bio. Marvel's Forge, living up to his name, Forge is an expert inventor who supplies the X-Men and other groups with advanced technology. So very interesting. Gives me a little bit of insight into it. Into him. Here is the UPC for all you folks there. Now, let's get to it and open Forge up. Alright, and here is the Forge figure out of the package. So one thing, it's a very basic figure. It looks good, but there's not a whole lot really going to it. I think there are some new pieces, so I think his right leg, the upper leg, the whole part of his upper leg may be new pieces. It's not something that I recall seeing on any other figure, and I kind of went through a lot of the stock photos, the promo images of a lot of figures to see if that's something that's been used before. And really, I can't pinpoint it, so I don't think we've seen those pieces before, but I could be wrong. If I am wrong, you guys let me know down in the comments below, and correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I could absolutely be wrong. Let me know. But a pretty good looking figure. Now, one thing that I really like are the accessories that comes with this guy, and I don't believe we've seen these guns before. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of times with the accessories, I tend to forget, but I don't think we've seen these before, and they're pretty awesome looking. So let's get a close-up look at those guns, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure and go over the articulation. Okay, so here is a close-up look at these guns. So there's a lot of great sculpted detail into these guns that I really like. They're not real standard looking, so I think they're kind of a little bit more of a high-tech kind of look to the guns. But what I like is the color of them. So you can see that there's a little bit of a gold hue to them. It's almost hard to describe right there. It kind of, you know, you look at like the back handle there, and it looks really gold. It almost has kind of a green hue, a bronzy look to it. I don't know. There's something about these guns that just look very good when you have them in hand. I really like the way they look, and both guns are actually like that. So this is more of a handgun, and again, it's not something that I recall seeing before. It's not a standard pistol, but it's not the ugly futuristic type of gun that we've seen with like Chameleon. So I think this is a new one as well, and you can see it has the same, uses the same plastic, same coloring throughout. So I really do like the way that looks. You have to really see this in person to appreciate that. And then the only other thing that he comes with is the left arm for the Caliban Build-A-Figure, and we'll place that over here in the back corner and get to that in the Caliban video later on. Now let's take a closer look at the figure. Okay, so here's a close-up look at Forge. The paint on the head sculpt looks very good, and I think it came out looking great. The mustache is awesome. Look how that looks. The red bandana, the paint is applied on it, looks very good throughout, and he has a long ponytail in the back. No movement or anything, and then we get a brown band that's right around the ponytail. There's no additional coloring or anything in there, but that looks good. We get the, and I believe this is called the Bandolier. I know you guys have had to correct me on that a few times. The peg hole in the back, so it is open there. He doesn't come with anything to peg into the back, but if there was anything you needed to do, you could do that. He has the red X-Men belt, similar to what we've seen before. The yellow on the blue looks pretty good. It's a little fuzzy on some of these lines in the shoulder, but it's not terrible. It doesn't look too bad throughout the torso, which is good. A lot of times with the X-Men wave, we've seen kind of some questionable paint apps, but it doesn't seem to be so much an issue on this wave, which is fantastic. So it seems like a lot more attention to the X-Men figures. He's kind of got these big pirate gloves types here. His right hand is a trigger finger, left is not. This gun fits a little loose in that right hand. The handgun fits just fine. The right leg, the mechanical parts of his right leg, and I know I looked it up, he got injured in Vietnam, so it's done in a metallic silverish blue, so you could kind of really see the blue hue come out, and that looks very good. There's some nice sculpted detail into the leg, especially on the back of the leg, which is kind of odd. You know, we get some of it in the front, on the inside there, not a whole lot. We get this holster for the pistol here on the right leg. Now, one thing that I don't like is that this gun does not fit. Well, this gun does not fit nicely into this holster. If you want it to go lower than that, you really have to force it down, and then it's kind of wants to get stuck when trying to pull it out. So that's a little unfortunate. I'm sure a normal gun would probably go in there just fine. My leg, it looks a little gummy, so you could see that you want to straighten it out a little bit because that's making him stand kind of to the side. But I worry if this leg may be of a different height than this leg, since this is a new piece, and you know, it's not all bucky cap pieces here like the torso is. His boots, I think these are new. I don't recall seeing these anywhere, especially because they're floating pieces, which I'm not a big fan of, because a lot of the times they can just go down to the bottom and fall, and that doesn't look good. But they actually hold up pretty well as long as you keep them right above the calf. They'll kind of hang out there on their own, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Down to the feet, he's got the tiny bucky cap feet that I hate because they are super small, and it makes it a little bit difficult to get him to stand up because there is not a big enough footprint to really balance him. But there it is. Let me show there. All right, now let's take a look at the articulation. As you can see, my Forge, he kind of wants to lean to the side, but standing up, he's just over 6 inches, so he's about 6 1/4 inches tall, so good height to him. It's bucky cap, but I'll go over it real quick. His head can look all the way down there. He can go up the hair. The ponytail doesn't really get into the way too much of hindering. There is no head pivot in there. For those of you that have not seen articulation on bucky cap, because I've had a few say, why don't you go over the articulation? It's because bucky cap gets used so much. They're one there. Full rotation, upper bicep swivel. Get a double jointed elbow, but these gloves kind of get in the way and hinder it a little bit. Ab crunches down that far. Ab crunches back that far. Now, I got lucky with mine, and I do not have a loose torso like a lot of the bucky caps are. You get a waist swivel. Legs go out this far apart, not a whole lot. You get an upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knee, that works pretty good. This gets in the way a little bit, but you could shift that around, not a problem. There is a boot cut in there. You get ankle that hinges all the way down, hinges all the way up, and you get a nice good ankle pivot. Leg kicks out that far forward, goes back very, very little. So there is articulation on Forge. So decent figure, not a whole lot to it. Not really going to go over anything else. It's a good fill-in figure. I know this is probably a character that people really like and enjoy, but for me, not familiar enough with him to really go over it into any kind of detail. But there it is. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of the figure. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Hit that thumbs up if you guys like it. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.